Hey guys, it is Whitney, your bariatric dietitian, creator of Level Up Bariatrics. Also your bariatric lifestyle coach. I play many roles in this business, but we are going to be getting down to the nitty gritty with how to create your balanced meal. So, I really want to stress the importance of creating balanced meals after weight loss surgery. You can actually take this concept and teach other people if you would like to, if you're comfortable enough. But anybody and everybody needs to create balanced meals, and you're going to learn what this does for you and why you should create balanced meals, how to create balanced meals. So everything you want to know, without giving you too much information, we're going to hit the high points on how to do this. So you want to create balanced meals for increased energy, strength, and satiety after weight loss surgery. So our first slide here, we're going to learn what creates balance. So what creates balance is the macronutrients that you put in your meals. And what are macronutrients? We've got three of them: protein, carbohydrates, and fats. So the inclusion of all three of these in some way, shape, or form is what's going to be creating that balance of the meal. And we'll find out that sometimes you're going to be intentionally adding fats and sometimes you're going to unintentionally be adding fats because some foods are going to have more than one macronutrient within them. And we'll talk a little bit more like that or about that as I sideline on some of these conversations. So, first and foremost, this doesn't help you at all learning how to do this if you don't know what the heck you're putting in there. You don't know what a protein is, you don't know what a carbohydrate is, you don't know what a fat is, then you're already in trouble. So, we want to learn the basics of these three things. This is a very short version of me educating you on these three macronutrients, guys. If I'm going to highly suggest that every one of you reading this or attending this workshop, if you have not already, then you need to purchase my weight loss surgery survival guide. This is going to have everything that you need in it to learn what you need to learn within each one of these categories, plus more. And then there's also applicable things in there. I just didn't want to create such a long workshop that you're falling asleep and you're getting too much information. So I like bare bones fundamental education first. If you want more, you can supplement that with the guide, and I'll include a link at the end for that or within the email that I'm sending this in. So protein, it does play an important role in the creation, maintenance, and repair of every cell in the body. There's a reason that you always hear protein, 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 protein after surgery. So let's go through the list there. It's essential for healing. So after surgery, you're going to be utilizing protein for healing your surgery, injuries, cuts, anything that has to do with healing, any kind of surgery. Building, repairing, and maintaining lean muscle. And you will be hearing from me if you work with me or in our program why we want to focus on gaining lean muscle. Supports a healthy metabolism, which equates to fat loss, which equates to either gaining lean muscle, loss of fat on the scale. There's a lot of exchanges happening, but nonetheless, we want to promote fat loss and gaining of lean muscle, and protein does this for us. It also supports the immune system, so prevents you from getting sick as often and helps you to get past things quicker. Growth of hair, skin, and nails. I don't care who you are, there's no amount of protein or biotin or collagen that you can take after surgery to prevent hair loss or hair shedding after surgery. So we're not going to go there in this workshop, but I'm just letting you know, just in general, protein is supporting the growth of hair, skin, and nails. And then also, most important, I wouldn't say most importantly, but very importantly, it controls hunger levels, because the things that we eat that contain protein, they sit in our stomach for a little bit longer, burning a few more calories, especially if it's solid food. So that helps control hunger levels. Side note, if you're depending on protein supplements, so if you're having a smoothie with no protein in it, I would say add a protein supplement. That's going to keep you fuller for longer. But that protein supplement, like the powder or liquid form, is obviously not going to be hanging around in the stomach for as long as a piece of chicken would be. Get where I'm going with that? So when we're talking about satiety levels or controlling hunger levels, it's very much the type of protein you're putting in your body as well that's going to determine that. So a tip, we want to aim for both animal-based products or animal-based and plant-based proteins to get a variety of vitamins, minerals, and fiber. What I'm talking about there is you're going to have animal-based products like chicken, fish, land and sea creatures, and then their byproducts like eggs, cheese, things of that sort. And then we have plant-based proteins, which again, I'm going to continue to mention the weight loss surgery survival guide because I wasn't going to make this a long workshop, but you've got tons of reference lists in that guide that are going to help you determine what is plant-based, what is animal-based, how much protein am I getting per serving size, what's complete, what's incomplete, things that you need to know. Okay, folks? So we do, however, want to get a variety of animal-based and plant-based proteins. A lot of those plant-based proteins are actually going to be carbohydrate sources as well. They're coming from the ground, plant-based. So although they have protein, they are going to also include carbohydrates and fiber. So that's what we're talking about with vitamins and minerals. Like a piece of chicken, that's not going to have hardly any carbohydrates in it at all. So we're not getting those types of qualities. Okay, so mixture of both of those things, and depending more on plant-based proteins also, which tend to be a lot more tolerable after surgery versus chicken, beef, those tend to get stuck. May have issues with, the fat, the amount of fat that's in them. It's all a toss-up. Never know till you have surgery. Anywho, good sources of protein would include lean meats, chicken, fish, turkey, lean beef cuts. So all of these are, these sources that I'm mentioning here are assuming that we're going the healthy route. We are having them baked, air fried. We're not having fried foods. Okay. And then whenever it comes to purchasing ground beef, bison, your fish, the turkey, chicken, we're getting the leanest versions possible. For the most part, are you going to have more fatty versions? Absolutely. But let's not make that 100% of the time. Let's make that a small percentage. And then seafood. So again, we're assuming that the seafood is not fried. These are like smoked or raw, if safe, and or cooked. Okay. And then legumes. So your legumes would include edamame, lentils, pinto beans, black beans, chickpeas, lima beans, peas. Those are just to name a few, but those are wonderful sources of plant-based proteins. And then you have your byproducts of animals like low-fat dairy products or dairy alternatives. So you've got dairy alternatives like soy milk, almond milk. Those would be considered dairy alternatives. But when I say dairy alternatives, most people are not looking for the protein content in it. So if you're getting, as far as plant-based milks go, soy milk is going to have the most protein in it. Plant-based yogurts, it's going to have to be something soy-based. There is like an almond one that I found that has a few more grams of protein in it, but always check that. If you're looking for dairy alternatives, red flags are going to be high sugar and hardly any protein. So soy products tend to be the best for dairy alternatives. There are coconut choices as well, but again, same thing. Most of them I found are high sugar and not really any protein at all. So we have also eggs, very common. And then nuts, seeds, nut and seed butters. Okay. So those are very common sources of protein. We've all heard of all of them, but those are indeed proteins. Carbohydrates. So let's have a little chit chat. So for carbohydrates, I do not want you guys to be fearful of carbohydrates. I have to basically get people to unlearn what they've learned in the past about carbs. Everyone thinks carbs are the enemy. Carbs are not the enemy. They just give you water weight. If you eat too many of them, you're going to plump up. And then if you eat too many of them and you're not exercising, it's going to turn into fat. So it's all a matter of what are you eating and what are you doing with it? So the answer is not just to totally eliminate carbs. What you should be doing if you're truly living the bariatric lifestyle is fueling your body with carbs and burning them off through exercise. So that's the main idea here. We're going to assume that that's what everybody's doing because that's what I'm going to tell you to do. So your carbohydrates are your body's main source of energy. We were born this way. There's no reason we need to cut out carbs. You cut out carbs, you're depriving. I'm going to say that again. You're depriving your body, your brain specifically, your kidneys, your muscles, and your central nervous system and heart muscles of what they need. So you're actually damaging or depriving your body of what it needs to sustain energy and function. Learn how to do it right, and you can do it all day long. No, not all day long. You can choose these carbohydrate choices wisely and use them to your benefit. You're going to have more energy and feel better if you're eating carbs than not. You just have to learn how to eat the right carbs. What are they and what are we looking for? And we're going to learn that very simply here. And you're going to purchase the Weight Loss Surgery Survival Guide too, and you'll have an even better explanation without any questions. So you've got three main types of carbohydrates. Starches. So starches are going to provide the vitamins, minerals, and fiber. That's a part of a carb. Fiber. So if you're picking the right carb, it's going to have an adequate amount of fiber. What does fiber do? Aids in digestion, so it keeps things moving along on the inside. We all want that. And fiber is especially important after bariatric surgery because you're not getting enough of it. We'll have a whole different workshop on fiber alone, but just know it's important. And that's what we're looking for in our carbs. And the more fiber there is, the more we can sustain our blood sugar levels or control them better. And we also have healthier cholesterol levels because it helps flush your system of toxins and things that tend to stick around in the bloodstream, your blood vessels, arteries, you name it. We're flushing them out with fiber. And then lastly, we have sugar. So sugar, we probably will have a whole workshop on sugar too, but fruits and vegetables offer natural sugars. So remember that there are natural sugars versus added sugars. We want to avoid or limit, I should say, the added sugars or significant amounts of them on a daily basis. Tip, do not fear the carb. You're just going to stick to whole food carb choices like high fiber fruits and vegetables and also complex whole grains, high fiber. We'll learn about those too. I'm going to mention again in the Weight Loss Surgery Survival Guide, when it comes to fiber, a lot of people are very unfamiliar with what contains good amounts of fiber. So you can kind of kill 2 or 3 birds with one stone. If you look at my fiber list, it's going to show you what foods are highest in protein, maybe adequate calories, and highest in fiber per serving size. So you can kind of optimize on this, especially if you have trouble with animal-based proteins or tolerating them. You will be able to access this list and quickly start to get more fiber in your diet on a regular basis, feel better, more energy, digestive system, pooping like a champ. Yes. So do not fear the carb. You want to stick to those whole food carb choices. When I say whole food, I don't know if you guys know what I mean or not, but let me explain it real quick. So whole food choices are basically the least processed possible. So you take a sweet potato from the ground, that's whole. You haven't done anything to it. You're just going to cook it, slice it, eat it, or slice it open. Same thing with any other vegetable. Like the least untouched is going to be the more whole food. So an actual whole food is the whole piece of food that has been basically unprocessed at all. So the more processed, the more processed it is, the more unrecognizable it is from its original source. If that makes any sense. Sorry if you're hearing my lawn maintenance. Thought they were done for the 10th time today. Okay, and then good sources of carbohydrates, high fiber fruits, high fiber grains, and non-starchy and high fiber vegetables. So you've got a good little list there too, like asparagus, zucchini, green beans, broccoli, leafy greens, carrots, tomato, cauliflower, celery, mushroom, bell pepper. Whoop, I just skipped ahead. And then, so I put a note there at the bottom, see fiber lists and weight loss surgery survival guide, because I'm not gonna list all those high fiber sources. There's too many for this workshop. So next, moving on, we are looking at fats. So there is a generation that has become fearful of fats as well. And I want you guys to know that there are fats that we need to limit, and there's fats that we really need to optimize and include in our diets. So let's start from the top here. Healthy fats are essential for a healthy, balanced diet. Okay, why? They are a source of essential fatty acids. You guys heard of omega-3s? Our bodies don't make omega-3s. We actually have to obtain that from our diet or supplements. What am I going to tell you to do? Get it through your diet. We already depend on too many supplements alone. Let's let our bodies do some work and actually get it through our diet. So you'll learn about some sources here, but fat obtained through your diet also helps to absorb fat soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. So can you imagine if your body depends on you to eat healthy fats in order to absorb vitamins, then you need to eat fat, okay? So if you're taking vitamins, if you're taking or supplementing vitamins like A, D, E, and K, it's going to tell you to have it with food. Why do you think that? Because the food you're likely having has fat in it, so it's going to help absorb those or help process and absorb those. So keep that in mind. That's why we need healthy fats in our diet. Omega-3s help decrease inflammation. They are incredible for brain health. I don't know if you have children with ADHD. That's the only thing that has been proven to improve symptoms of ADHD. We don't even know the full extent of the benefits of omega-3s, but those are three major ones I just named there. Saturated fats and unsaturated fats. These are the two major things I want you to know within the fats category. Saturated fats, we want to limit these. The way I can remember this, or the way I remembered this in school, was saturated. It's just saturated in bad fats. Ew. And then unsaturated, I don't know, it's just the opposite of saturated, I guess is how I remember it. But saturated fats, they're just full of it. We don't like saturated fats. It's just makes you feel heavy, saturated, full of it. So saturated fats, you want to limit these fats. These are the fats that are going to clog arteries, put on extra weight. They're found mostly in animal and animal byproducts with the exception of coconut. So just the fact that I said they're found mostly in animal products and animal byproducts, there's some people who are like, oh, I got to be a vegetarian. No need to be like that. I just want you to be aware that this is why we say when you're choosing your proteins, choose the leanest version, because we're cutting down on those saturated fats just by choosing the lean version. When you are choosing dairy products, when you're choosing the reduced fat version, that just means it's eliminating most, or if not all, the fat that's coming from that source. So for choosing mozzarella, instead of getting the full fat, amazing mozzarella from the deli that's fresh, that's fattier than your string cheese that says part skim, reduced fat or whatever. It's like plastic. So it's your choice. I would never tell someone, like right now I'm eating like the highest fat yogurt there is. Like I'm not going to not tell you to do that, because I truly believe in this type of a product. There's a time and a place for everything. You just need to be aware of what you're eating when you're eating it and why you're eating it. Like there's got to be a reason behind your choices other than just it's animal versus not animal, plant versus animal. Like it's not black and white, guys. So if you'd like more training, if you're curious and you want to learn about this and really not be dependent on other people like me or dietitians or your get with me. I'll coach you. I'll coach you for 6 months. You'll know more than you ever hoped to know, I think. But what's really good about learning in depth about this stuff is you get so confident and motivated with your choices. You don't have to depend on Facebook or news articles or the next person on Dr. Oz. Like they're also very black and white, and they don't know you've had bariatric surgery. They don't know your health history. They don't know your digestive system. They don't know your palate. They don't know anything. Get with someone like an individual who can really break down what you need. Whew, got my high horse there. Okay, saturated. So unsaturated. Oh, let's talk about coconut. So there's a reason that my yogurt is so high in fat. Sorry, I got my blur on. There's a reason my yogurt is so high in fat. It's because there's coconut added. So like my yogurt has 15 grams of fat here. It got non-fat milk, pasteurized milk, milk fat, sunflower and or avocado oil. Maybe there's not coconut in here. I'm thinking about something else. Sorry, forget everything I just said because I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, it's coconut flavor. I think that's where I got that. Okay, so nonetheless, it is high in fat, but I prefer a higher fat yogurt. I'm skinny as a rail. I want to lose, I want to gain weight and I want to get in the gym and I want to build muscle. So I'm on a high calorie diet right now. So again, there's a time and a place for everything. Know what you're eating, why you're eating it, and when you're eating it. And again, we'll teach you how to do that. Tip, go to unsaturated fats. You want to eat more of these types of fats. Unsaturated fats are going to be found primarily in the plant-based world. We'll see some sources here in just a second. Tip, limit or avoid sources of saturated fats like fatty cuts of meat and beef, full fat dairy, and fried foods. We've covered that, so there's your review. Good sources of fat. We're going to go with fish first. Okay, fish is incredibly healthy for you if cooked the right way. We don't want it fried, right? And we don't want it with tons of butter on top or sauces that are creamy. And we don't. That's just adding to the fat, which may or may not be a healthy fat. Fatty fish includes salmon. I love salmon, smoked salmon, baked salmon, air fried salmon, herring, lake trout, sardines, mackerel, and tuna. Nuts and seeds are great sources of fat. They're also, keep this in mind, they're gonna be your sources of protein, and some of them are gonna have carbs too. So nuts and seeds can be a very good balance of carbs, protein, and fat at the same time. Coconut and coconut byproducts, those are good sources of fat. And I don't know if you know this, but coconut includes a fat called a medium chain triglyceride. So this is the only fat that can cross the blood-brain barrier. The only other thing that can cross the blood-brain barrier to give you your brain energy is carbohydrates. So this is where MCT oil, medium chain triglycerides, anything coconut-based, it's very popular in the ketogenic and very low carb world because you can obtain energy from that source. That's a whole nother conversation too. I just wanted to add that fun fact. And then good sources continue. Avocado. I'm talking guacamole, frozen avocado, fresh avocado. Avocado is so mild, it can basically transition any dish just because it's so mild. It does not overtake the flavor of any one meal. So to have avocado in your diet is wonderful. It's got a substantial amount of fiber and healthy fats. Oops. And then down there at the bottom, plant-based oils. So if you're using oils in your kitchen, make sure they are high quality, please. I would much rather everybody go with either extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil. I like avocado oil for cooking because it has a very high smoke point. What does that mean? That means I can pour it in the pan and not fry. I'm not going to fry anything, but it can heat up pretty high without smoking. So basically it's got a very high smoke point. So the temperature at which it starts to smoke. Olive oil has a very low smoke point. So there's no way you're gonna be frying anything in olive oil. And the taste tends to change a bit whenever you are getting it a little bit too hot. So I like those two oils. You can try the other ones if you would like, but get that other oil out of your kitchen. Okay, why do we need balanced meals? We've kind of touched on this a little bit, but we want, number one, satiety. What does satiety mean? It means that we are satisfied. We feel satisfied. So after the first few bites after your meal, you should start to be thinking, okay, hopefully you're not getting near full yet. You may if you're very early on after post-op, but we don't want you to get to the point of being full, because if you're to the point of being full, you may continue to get fuller for the next few minutes. So you want to get to the point where you are satisfied. And what satisfied feels like is, no, I'll be good without another bite. I feel like I have filled my pouch to the point where I don't want to push the envelope anymore. I don't feel like I need another bite to satisfy my brain either. So whenever it comes to satiety, our goal is to satisfy you enough to also satisfy your brain. If you're eating a bucket of cookies, that's only one type of macronutrient, and that's carbs. Well, there's fat in there too, but very little protein. Basically, the nutrition profile is crap, but there's a reason you're not going to be satisfied until you eat. You won't be satisfied until if you ate bukus of it. You would still have this longing an hour later for something else more fulfilling. But if we're balancing our plate with protein, carbohydrates, and maybe fats, then we will have that satiety feeling. So this would equate to number 4, which we'll wrap that into this one in just a second. But number 2, better control of blood sugar levels. So I don't know if you're very aware of your body, which I hope that after surgery you are starting to become a little bit more aware of what you're feeling, when you're feeling it, why you're feeling it. If you're eliminating all these external just bull crap stuff that you've always paid attention to, like if you're really being more mindful and taking care of stress, and you're really being introspective, reflective, journaling, like you hopefully you are. Not That's not for everybody, but I'm telling you, you're on a transformative journey. You should, I hate to say should, but you should be in a spot where you want to learn and grow. And if you want to achieve a higher level of health, this is what that requires. You need to be more aware of what's going on in your brain and body together. So, all that to say, if you've had diabetes before, I've never had diabetes, but I'm highly sensitive to sugar and my blood sugar levels. When my blood sugar levels drop, and you've, I'm sure, experienced this too, maybe you didn't know as blood sugar, you get hangry, okay? You get shaky, you get weak, you, um, you become a fire breathing dragon like I do. And it can come on very quickly if you're not sustaining, if you're not on a good meal schedule, or if you're not eating balanced meals. So let's say you just have a protein shake in the morning without any carbohydrates, there's no healthy fats in it at all, or for that matter, you didn't have anything in addition to that protein shake and it was just all protein. I think I just said the same thing. Either way, if all you had was protein and there's no carbs or fats to slow that down or to complement that, you're probably going to be hungry in an hour. I don't know, maybe you won't. It really just depends on your hunger hormones after surgery too, because I've seen people just, ravenous after surgery, and I've also seen people for the first year they just don't have an appetite at all. So it's really up to you. But I'm just saying, if you are feeling those feelings, then it's likely you are not having balanced meals, or you're not eating frequently enough. So number three, sustained energy levels. This kind of goes hand in hand, but not at the same time. Sustained energy levels, you just may be feeling like brain fog. So if you're brain fog, muscle fatigue, whatever, if you are cutting out carbs and you're just focused on everything else, you're gonna kind of feel the same thing as blood sugar levels. But maybe you're just like, I'm not motivated to exercise because I feel weak, or my muscle, I just feel like, ugh, feel so lethargic today. You shouldn't be feeling like that on a regular basis. You're either exercising too much and eating too little, or if you're not exercising at all, you're just downright eating too little, or just the wrong things, or just imbalanced meals. I would have to look at your food log and you'd have to repeat to me or share with me what you're having in order to know. But either way. Number four, reduced cravings. So this tied in with number one. So if you are really balancing your meals and you are working hard at getting in each one of your macronutrients, you should have reduced cravings, because usually your body is having cravings based upon what it's missing. So let's say a carb is recognized as a carb in your body. So you eat a healthy carb, a complex carbs that breaks down slowly because it's got fiber in it, then there's no dipping of that blood sugar causing you to be like, oh my God, I need candy, I need a cookie, I need something to raise my blood sugar level so I feel better. Like, a lot of people are dependent on that because they're eating empty carbs. They're just doing this all day long. Have a carb, blood sugar spikes. It goes through your system very quickly. You need another carb. You need another carb. It's just a crazy roller coaster that shouldn't be happening. And it's doing more than just screwing up your blood sugar too. And then number five, improved digestion. Guys, let's be pooping every day, okay? That's what I want to see, is people pooping every day. Not all day long. There's a problem there. Not every 4 days. There's a problem there. The goal is to get you pooping every day consistently. So improved digestion, that would come through having a substantial amount of fiber, a adequate, I should say, amount of fiber. That's around 25 grams of fiber a day for women and 30 for men. It's hard to get there after bariatric surgery, but through learning and planning and intentionally eating the right carbs, you can meet that. Just make sure you don't do it all in one day. When you increase fiber too fast without a proper amount of fluid, also, you can get lots of bloating and constipation. So you could be in worse shape than what you started with. So you want to increase fiber very slowly. And you could say, I'm going to have a goal of 10 because my usual is 5. I'll shoot for 10 every day next, or 10 grams every day next week. And then maybe 2 weeks from then you get up to 20 every day. And then you reach your 25 significant or consistently. But fluid always needs, fiber always needs fluid. Okay. Remember that. So increase slowly, increase your fluid. Okay. So how do we create balanced meals? Rule number one, you want to always choose a protein. Okay. Number two, always choose a fiber containing carb. This is also called a complex carb. Complex carbs, let's think of the word complex equates to the word hard. Oh my God, there's another big mower. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Can't plan this. Fiber containing carbs. So something high in fiber. I forgot what I was saying. You get the idea. Rule number three, you don't always have to have a fat, but keep in mind, you do want to make a point to include healthy fats in your diet, but sometimes you may unintentionally include them because you're choosing a food that has a lot of your macronutrients or most of your macronutrients together. So like nuts, you remember the example for nuts, it's a protein. They've got a little bit of carbs depending on what nuts, and then they're all going to contain healthy fats. Okay. So not always a fat, sometimes a fat, just depends. You know, you're probably going to have some type of a threshold or limit of how much fat you want to have in a day. So you can keep that in mind as well. All right, so the next 3 pages are going to be examples of combinations. You can use this to pick and choose of your own or for your own, but I really want you guys to use this workshop in coordination with that weight loss surgery survival guide because you've got other lists, reference lists, longer lists, okay? So check out these combinations. So let's look at the first one. Protein. Your protein here is going to be chicken breast. What kind of chicken breast, you ask? Well, it could be anything. It could be canned chicken breast. I don't like it, but you can do canned chicken breast. Get organic. You can do rotisserie chicken or leftover chicken breast that you had from the night before. You can do fresh chicken breast. You can do deli chicken sliced. I really don't care what kind of chicken. You can get like lightly breaded organic chicken nuggets and air fry them. You know, if you're at home and you've got more time, you can do some kind of chicken. The point is protein. And then plus a carb. But look at the fat. So some of these I've got as combinations, like they would go paired together. So you've got guacamole, and then your carb would be whole grain tortilla chips. So we've got all 3 things right there. You eat that, you're going to be more satisfied than if you were to eat just that chicken breast. Okay. Next example, hard-boiled egg. That's a great go-to, great meal prep option. Your carbohydrates would be carrots, which are very minimal carbs, and especially for a bariatric patient, you're not going to eat a whole bucket of carrots, and hummus. So hummus has got a little bit of healthy fats too, but carbs and a little bit of protein, but nothing significant enough to honestly put it in any category. And then your fat. So I put pistachios as your fat because it's going to have fat in it, but it's also going to be considered one of your proteins. So you've got a great combination across the board there. Next one, smoked salmon. I love smoked salmon, guys. If you like smoked salmon and you're not trying to like mix it up a little bit, I do open face sandwiches with smoked salmon and a over easy egg and maybe some sliced avocado. Yeah, I know that's very high fat, but again, I'm on a high calorie diet. And high fiber bread. So toast up some bread. I love Dave's Killer Bread, the seed kind. You can put some cream cheese on there if you'd like. Of course, you can get low fat cream cheese also. You could even make your own cream cheese, like a protein cream cheese if you want. You can get wild. Yeah. Protein, next one, tuna salad. Tuna would be your protein. Your carbohydrates would be like a Triscuit. I don't go fancy with the Triscuits. I get the plain, whole grain, highest fiber, whatever. And then your fat would be the base that you're using for tuna salad. Now, if you're looking at tuna salad, let me just grab a can of tuna. Hold on 2 seconds. Okay. So tuna is a wonderful source of omega-3s, but if you're looking at the can, 3 servings per container, 3 about total fat. There's very minimal fat in tuna. Okay, it's pretty lean, but nonetheless, you're going to be, if you're making a tuna salad, you're likely going to be using something as a base, whether that's mayo. You can get Vegenaise. There's all sorts of mayo substitutions. Honestly, at the end of the day, again, you're a bariatric patient. You're not going to be having like, you know, a substantial amount of mayo. So I don't want you to freak out over that. Some people use Greek yogurt. If you'd like to use that instead, just to up your protein, that's fine too. So it's all you, but you see the examples here. The next one I have on here is more of a vegetarian option. So I do not have animal products on this one. So this is a bowl of sorts. I love bowls. These are wonderful ways to meal prep and ensure that you're getting tons of color and variety in your diet at once. So black beans and quinoa. Quinoa is actually a complete protein on its own. So it's got the same amino acid profile, let's say, I mean, not exact same, but it's got 9 essential amino acids, just like chicken does. So quinoa is a complete protein on its own. Black beans are not, but when you pair it with something like brown rice, then yes, you do. We're not going to go down that road, but nonetheless, black beans, wonderful source of protein and complex carbs, which means high fiber. And then you can put some other color in there, you know, whatever you like, those lower starchy veggies. So some broccoli, a diced bell pepper, and then you can add a little healthy fat in there, avocado. That'll add some texture and creaminess to it too. Super simple. Don't make it not simple. It's very simple, promise. You can get all of this stuff almost halfway made, pre-made, or you can do it all from scratch. I don't care where you start. It's all healthy in my mind. Okay, next one. I hate to go through these one by one, but I like to explain so you can get a better idea. Protein, almond butter. Almond butter is also going to be your fat. Remember that because it's coming from a nut. We talked about that. And then your carbohydrate would be your sliced apple. I don't care what apple. I like green apples. Protein, mozzarella. So everybody likes mozzarella and cherry tomatoes. You can do a little drizzle of basil. No, add basil. And a little drizzle of balsamic. Holy moly. You can also get those marinated mozzarella balls in the containers that already has all the seasonings. Super good. Eat them with a toothpick. Great meal prep. Lunchbox kit. Another one, ground beef. Like get a lean ground beef instead of doing regular pasta noodles, because pasta noodles tend to get stuck for a lot of people and they do not digest well and they expand in the stomach. So a great alternative are Banza chickpea noodles. They are high in fiber. They're made from chickpeas. They're high in protein. Love them. They make all sorts of shapes and sizes or cuts, whatever you want to say, types of pasta. They're all wonderful. I really like the elbow noodles. And your beef is also going to be your source of fat. There's no other fat other than in the beef. Protein, back down, we're at cheddar cubes. I love those little cheddar cubes. They're great for snacking. You just want to portion control if you feel like you're going to get out of control with those, because they are pretty savory and, you know, great. They just like melt in your mouth. They're amazing. Complementary to cheddar is grapes. I mean, grapes and cheddar cubes. You know, any fruit really goes well with cheese. It really does. Brie, oh my gosh. Again, guys, I don't want you guys to totally go crazy over the choices of these things. Okay. I'm not a plant-based dietitian, but I promote plant-based or plant-focused eating. I believe you can have liberation with colorful foods. If you enjoy fruits, wonderful. If you enjoy vegetables, wonderful. I want to promote, you know, the things that are going to keep you disease-free and prevent disease, and just overall improve your health, your hypertension. I'm not focused on weight. Okay, you're doing the work, you eat the healthy things, the weight's going to come without you focusing on it. All natural peanut butter. Who does not like peanut butter and banana? So good. So your fat is also going to be your peanut butter there. I mean, your peanut butter is also going to be your fat there. And when I say, like, I'm putting the word banana on here, I'm not telling you to eat a whole banana. Don't get all mixed up in that either. Oh my God, a whole banana is like a whole day's worth of carbs. Well, it might be, but go to the gym. I shouldn't have said that. But for real, don't be afraid to eat the things that you love. You have to work out anyway. You need to work out anyway. So why not eat the things that you like? We want to promote healthy relationships with foods. Okay. So, but again, these amounts, I don't really ever put amounts, because I'm talking to some people who are 1 month post-op. I'm talking to some people who are 6 months post-op. I'm talking to some people who are 4 years post-op. God knows I have no idea how much you can fit in that pouch. We want to, of course, keep that limit to 1 cup size just for sustainability of practices and, you know, and ensuring that you're not altering your hunger hormones. But anyway, all that to say, it's all up to you and your portion sizes and your scheduled eating. If you want something individualized, you and I need to chat individually. Check out these combos. So this is the last one, I think. Yes. Okay. Protein, yogurt. Yogurt's a wonderful go-to option. There's tons that are ready to just go. I buy the bigger pack so that I can, alter what I put in them. I make yogurt bowls. I just absolutely love it. They're delicious. But what you want to choose is a high protein yogurt, low added sugar, and your carbohydrate would be something like berries. Those are low on the glycemic index, so they're going to slowly break down versus quickly. So they'll affect your blood sugar less, higher in fiber as well, higher in antioxidants. And then if you want to add a healthy fat, try chia seeds. Okay, chia seeds are a wonderful thing to add to oatmeal, waters, teas, yogurts. I put it in my ratio yogurt all the time. Next, trail mix. Please make your own, guys. You never know what's in it. You're just better off making your own, honestly, unless you just really go to a health food store and you get a really awesome one. But pumpkin seeds, walnuts, pecans, dried raisins, and cranberries would be your carb. And then nuts are also going to be the fat. So your protein is going to be, this is like across the board, a good mix of everything. Next, what if you just want a protein bar? Well, don't just eat that protein bar. Unless it's a plant-based protein bar, it's not going to have significant amounts of fiber unless it's added in there from a different source. And it's not going to have tons of healthy fats. So if you're having a protein bar, it literally just depends on what kind of protein bar you're having. I like the simpler the better. I wanted to share. This isn't like super high in protein. This isn't super high in protein, but I really like these. They're called Good and Gather. They're the Good and Gather Target brand date and nut bar. There's a cashew coconut chocolate chip one. There's a lemon one. Only 2 grams of added sugars. There's only 4 grams of protein, but if you're looking for sources of healthy fat and you want a snack just to hold you over, if you've already kind of gotten your protein in or you're not worried about your protein needs for the day, you're not going to depend on this for protein. It's like 200 calories. Yeah, some people are like, gasp, 200 calories. Again, guys, time and a place for everything. Don't hate. But anyway, things like that are really good to have around. I forgot why I even said that. Oh, yeah, that doesn't relate to what I'm trying to say. But anyway, your protein bar, a lot of them are just going to be really high in protein. So think about what you're missing out of that. What kind of carb can you put or add to it on the side, or even fat? And then same thing with protein shake. Your protein shakes are usually just high in protein. There's not really a lot of carbohydrates or healthy fats in them. So keep that in mind. We want that balance. You can choose any of these other carb or fat options that are listed on here. Remember also, you don't have to have that fat, but you want to have a good amount of carbs with it too. If you're really wanting an amount from me, I don't know. I don't want to say I don't know, but I usually say limit each meal choice to no more than 25 grams of carbs. You could cut it off at 20 if you want. And that's assuming you're having 5 or 6 small meals a day. 20 times 5 is 100. So I know you're not having any more than 100 grams of carbohydrates in the day. If you're working out in the gym all the darn time, you're lifting weights, you're going to have more carbohydrates in that. Like, again, everybody's individuals. Okay, deli turkey is your last one here. So deli turkey would be your protein, your carbohydrate would be your high fiber wrap. There are like, carb balance, or you can go more of the organic and less processed route. You can even do lettuce wraps if you want to, and just put more non-starchy carb veggies in that wrap, or the lettuce wrap. And then for a healthy fat, you could do sliced avocado. Okay. So I hope these examples are helping you understand what's a protein, what's a carb, what's a fat. But again, in that weight loss surgery survival guide, you're going to get more inclusive lists, extensive lists that you can use. I have another little thing that I'm going to transition this into my other branding, but I've got something else that I think I'm going to send out with this email as well. If I don't, sorry. If I do, then wonderful for you. But yeah, as many helpful things as I can think of as possible. But I wanted to start with this to create your balanced plate, and hopefully you got the idea of why we need to do that, when we need to do it, all those questions. So the options are endless when you know what types of foods you're choosing. Okay, I want you guys to become confident and secure to learn the fundamentals of how to choose these things. Okay. And hopefully you'll be able to teach other people going through surgery the importance of it. And you could share the difference of how it made you feel, once you started balancing your meals appropriately. So I want each and every one of you who haven't already purchased the Level Up Weight Loss Surgery Survival Guide. It is $35 or maybe it's $39. I don't remember. It is super useful. Anyone can use it. It doesn't matter if you're preparing for surgery or if you're 5 years post-op or more. There's always some place to pick up in there. There's going to be something, a lot of some things that you can take away from this guide. Okay. We all know that for the most part, many of our bariatric centers do not give things like this. You're basically handed some paper and say, good luck, figure it out. I don't want that for you guys. So I want you to have as much resources and support as possible. Okay. All right, guys, I'm signing off. I'm going to be getting this together and sending it to you ASAP. Thanks for joining. If you're a Level Up member, thank you for being a member. If you want to share, well, I was going to say if you want to share this with somebody, that'd be great, but please don't share this. This is very much supporting our program and the professionals that are working for us. If you'd like to share that we have these types of workshops out there, that would be lovely. As some kind of referral, if you have a friend that wants to join the Level Up crew, I'll give you a kickback. So just share as much as possible our resources that we're providing. Bye, guys.